Hello and welcome to QEP Radio. Today we'll continue our program, The Profiles of Canadian Authors, where we'll be talking to Kit Pearson, and she'll be explaining her book, The Sky is Falling. Welcome to the show, Kit.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Just to let you know, you're going to be broadcasted all across Canada by radio. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I was born in Edmonton, Alberta, but I traveled all across Western Canada. It was only after reading the book Emily of New Moon by Ellen Montgomery that I actually decided that I wanted to become a writer. However, it was only when I became a librarian that I actually had the courage to write my own novel. My first book was called A Daring Game, and since then I've continued writing multiple books for young adults.
Interesting. Can you tell me about your book, The Sky is Falling?
It takes place in the 1940s at the start of World War II. It follows two British children, Nora and Gavin, who are evacuated to Canada. With a new school and a new life altogether, Nora has trouble adjusting. But, in the end...
I'm just going to stop you right there. We're going to go to a word from our sponsors, and we'll find out the ending of the book a little bit later. Thanks so much. Welcome back, viewers. Now we're going to be going into Riverdale Elementary, where we're going to interview an actual librarian who just read The Sky is Falling to a group of 4th grade students. Let's go take a look.
Hi, my name is Miss Nancy, and I'm a librarian at Riverdale Elementary School. We've just completed the novel The Sky is Falling by Kit Pearson with our grade 4 students. We have several activities scheduled based on the book. We'll begin with one activity which the students seem really excited about. And in this activity, students will be asked to act as an ambassador of Canada while visiting England. We base this activity on 2 quotes that we found in the novel The Sky is Falling. The first quote is said to Nora by her father the day before she is about to leave England and journey to Canada. It begins like this. You aren't just going to Canada as yourself. You're representing England. If you're impolite or ungrateful, the Canadians will think that that's what English children are like. So remember your manners, and whenever you're in doubt, think of how Mom and I would expect you to behave. The second quote, which we've concentrated on, is said by one of the officials on the boat trip to Canada. The next morning, an earnest and important-looking man told the assembled children, as Dad had, that they were little ambassadors. When things go wrong, as they often will, remember you are British and grin it and bear it. Be truthful, brave, kind, and grateful. Based on these two quotes, we will ask the children to write a speech acting as an ambassador of Canada. Obviously, we'll begin by explaining what an ambassador is and what their job entails. We'll also discuss important qualities that we think a good ambassador must have, and some of the important aspects of Canada and Canadians that we think is important for other people of other countries to know, such as our traditions, our culture, our food, our languages. And then, once that is complete, the children will write up their speech and present it to their fellow classmates. If students are interested in following the lives of Nora and Gavin past the first novel, The Sky is Falling, they're in luck. It's a trilogy, so they can pick up the books Looking at the Moon or The Lights Go On Again. However, there are several other novels that are related to this one over here. One of my favorites is the novel Hockey Bat Harris by Geoffrey Bilson. The novel tells the story of one of Canada's least known contributions to the early 1940s war effort, which is the Child Guest Program. The story follows a 12-year-old boy named David Harris who is from England. Due to the war, he is forced to live in Canada with a family he has never known. The book reveals problems, misunderstandings, and insensitivities that occur between Danny and the family that has volunteered to take him in. The second book, You're in Luck, I am just about to read to my grade 2 students. This is a short story which involves a young Canadian girl named Sally living in Montreal during World War II. The book demonstrates the sacrifice and changes the war brings for Sally and her family, such as food shortages. Sally's teacher has asked students to participate in White Gift Friday, where students bring a present that is to be sent to a needy war child in England. The young girl who eventually receives Sally's gift becomes her pen pal, and the war becomes more real for Sally. These books are great resources for children as well as teachers.
Welcome back to QEP Radio. I hope you guys enjoyed that segment with the librarian. Now we're going to be speaking to a young mother who just read the book The Sky is Falling to her children at home.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I just finished reading the book The Sky is Falling with my children, and we decided to do an activity, a baking activity, to follow up on what we read. And we decided that we wanted to make an English dish that you could find in England, but that would take into account the food rationing that went on during the war, such as what Nora and Gavin would have experienced. So we found custard pudding, which is a traditional English dish, but it takes into account smaller amounts of certain ingredients that would have been hard to find during the war. So first you take some custard sauce. So some of the ingredients, I'm going to show you how to make it, are custard sauce. You need some breadcrumbs, some stale breadcrumbs. You need a little bit of jam, but in this recipe there's only a small amount because this was one ingredient that was rationed during the war. And finally you need some vanilla. These ingredients make up the custard part of your custard pudding. And then you can make a cream that will go on top and mix together as well. So for the cream you need some butter, you need some sugar, and finally some milk. And both milk and sugar were also rationed, so in this recipe there's not very much sugar and not very much milk. So in order to make the custard pudding, you would take all of these ingredients and you would mix them together in a saucepan, put it on the stove for 5 minutes, and then put the cream on top. And we'll show you how it works out later. If you want to learn more about this recipe and more specific ingredients, you can go to the QEP Radio website and all the instructions are there.
My paddle's keen and bright, flashing with silver. Follow the one who's flight, dip, dip and swing. Dip, dip and swing her back, flashing with silver. Swift as the one who's flies, dip, dip and swing. Land of the silver birch, home of the beaver, where still the mighty moose wanders at will. Blue lake and rocky shore, I will return once more. Boom diddy yada, boom diddy yada, boom diddy yada, boom. High on a rocky ledge, I'll build my wigwam, close to the water's edge, silent and still. Blue lake and rocky shore.
Now we're back at Riverdale Elementary, where we're going to be talking to an elementary school teacher who's currently reading The Sky is Falling in her elementary classroom. Let's go take a look.
I'm currently reading The Sky is Falling with my class, and I've made some interesting extended activities that will help them explore the novel more. In Chapter 18, the children noticed that Nora and Gavin experienced a Canadian Halloween. Their Canadian Halloween was nothing like they experienced in England. So one of the activities that I created for this chapter was for the students to gather in groups of 3 to 4, and they are to pick a country to research and present. Their research will have to explore the country's Halloween traditions, and this will also allow the class to see how the world celebrates Halloween. Another activity is a crossword puzzle. This consists of the different words that Canadian and British cultures use, that they're the same words but they mean differently. So for example, in England they will say hat, but in Canada we say toque. This will allow for the students to see the differences and the troubles that Nora and Gavin experience while they're in Canada. A physical object that we will be exploring in the class is a newspaper. It will allow each student to make their own newspaper page, and on that page they will include the activities and articles and ideas about the novel. In the end, the class will have a newspaper that is about the book The Sky is Falling.
Hi, I'm Keelan Farah. I work as an advisor for the Quebec government. At the moment, I'm advising a project involving the QEP and social sciences. The general objective of social sciences is to construct his or her awareness in order to act as a responsible and informed citizen. When dealing with the social sciences, the core learnings are to explain social phenomena rigorously and systematically, and to put social phenomena in perspective for the students. With this in mind, it is clear that The Sky is Falling by Kit Pearson is a perfect book to deal with the social sciences. Furthermore, this book deals with Competency 2, which involves interpreting change in a society and its territory. In Cycle 3, students progress in the development of this competency by giving meaning to the changes in a society and its territory. They enrich the geography and history vocabulary acquired in previous cycles. They present their interpretation of these changes in a production using various supporting materials. They recognize changes in the geographic and historical contexts at two chosen points in time, describe the changes observed, and establish some of their causes and effects. The main evaluation criteria that are worked on with the book are indicating similarities and differences in the geographic and historical contexts of societies and their territories, and describing similarities and differences in the organization of those societies and territories involved. With the activities that we have covered previously, the students are able to build on the prior knowledge of the facts that happen in the book. Furthermore, there are several cross-curricular activities that are involved in this book, primarily using creativity, using information and communication technologies, and constructing his or her identity. Thank you.